Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 4, and today we're taking a look at the 2019 Porsche Macan Turbo. Now, I was initially not going to review this car because for some reason the figures on this car in this game are a little bit off in comparison to real life, so that did initially put me off, but because I wasn't much of a fan of the older Macan Turbo, I did try this out and I was surprised by how much I liked it in comparison, so I think that alone is worth having a look at this car. So yeah. It's still part of the first generation that has been in production since 2014. I'm pretty sure though 2019 is going to be the last year of this generation, because I've seen the 2020 version of this and it does look slightly more different. So yeah, this is probably going to be the last year for this generation, but it does feature the performance package, which gives this car more horsepower, more torque, as well as a sports chrono pack, which provides adaptive dampers, a 15mm lower ride height, and launch control. It is £33 heavier than the 2015 version that we've reviewed on a previous Forza game, but with that extra power and extra torque, it is by no means a slouch, and definitely quicker than that car. And compared to other lightweight SUVs like this, like the F-Pace and the Maserati Levante S, it does have more power and yeah, is quicker in terms of acceleration. Not quite as light as the Jaguar F-Pace, but yeah, certainly more powerful, and yeah, more powerful than the Maserati while weighing a lot less as well, while yeah, not being quite as large either. So yeah, it's a pretty decent all-rounder this, because it is based on the standard Macan. You've got plenty of room in the rear. You've got a really rather large boot space there. Probably one of the more spacious boot spaces on a vehicle of this size. And yeah, still got a really rather decent interior as you'd expect from Porsche, especially since you were paying quite a lot of money for one of these. And yeah, there you go. Really rather decent front interior as well. You've got all of the buttons and switches that you could ever need. As you can see, there is some off-road capability as well, which is nice to see, but it's, yeah, not to the same extent as, say, as a top of the range Range Rover or anything like that. But yeah, it's still there if you need it, and yeah, which is again despite the fact that this has a lower ride height. But if you get it with the air suspension, which is an optional extra, you can actually raise it to compensate for that lower ride height. So yeah, overall solid car, but it's where the under the hood that this car is improved over the previous version. Still got a 3.6 litre twin turbocharged V6, but with this performance package you get 434 horsepower and 443 pounds-feet of torque. So that's 34 extra horsepower and 37 extra pounds-feet of torque. Though unfortunately in this game the figures for the torque are a bit off, but yeah, it's still nonetheless a pretty damn quick car. So yeah, let's get out onto the open road and see just what this car can do. Now, not only is this more powerful than the Macan that we've had on the previous Forza games, but yeah, it's also better looking, especially at the rear with those new tail lights. Not still quite as good as looking as the F-Pace or the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio, but still a fairly decent looking car, which hasn't been the case for previous Porsche SUVs. But where this car shines is in terms of how it handles, because yeah, even though I'm not really showing it off there, but even though yeah, it's still a fairly hefty vehicle, it really doesn't feel its weight all that much whatsoever. And yeah, with that engine having all that horsepower and torque as well, it's really rather a truckable vehicle. And yeah, this being the turbo, it's obviously got bigger brakes than the standard version. It's got 19-inch wheels, so it's got all of the components to making a really rather sporty off-roading car. Granted, it's not much of an off-road car because, you know, it's a smaller version basically of a Cayenne. And yeah, that at the end of the day is this biggest car's Achilles heel, because it sounds good, it's decently quick, 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds, 0 to 110.4 seconds, and it goes to a top speed of 172. It's reasonably good in terms of handling, it's got plenty of space, but at the end of the day, it does feel like a car that's been managed not by engineers, not by designers, but by a committee, by people that are just in the business for selling cars and not making them. And yeah, you just do get the feeling that this car could be better if they weren't, you know, trying to, you know, have it below the Cayenne. Because if this had 500-ish horsepower, say the same amount of horsepower as an Alfa Romeo Stelvio, while weighing less than that car, it would be even better. And yeah, easily one of the best cars in its class. But because they don't want it to be as quick as the Cayenne, because obviously it's cheaper than that car, then they've had to keep the power down in comparison to that car. So that's why it has 116 horsepower less than a Cayenne, while also having obviously a smaller engine and less torque. So yeah, decent car. It's in the same kind of ballpark as say as a Boxster or a Cayman. They are both decent. They're all decent cars, but you just know that they've been made to fit into a gap in the market, quite frankly. Whereas the likes of an Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio does feel like the best kind of car that Alfa Romeo can make within the restrictions of an SUV. With its, more than 500 horsepower, it's really rather a charismatic engine. It looks a lot better than this, and yeah, even though it is heavier, it's not by much. Certainly not enough to make up for the big horsepower difference. So yeah, big shame really, because yeah, in terms of handling and power and speed and acceleration, it's really rather good. But yeah, there is that lingering nagging thought in the back of your head that it could be better and it should be better, and it is. Porsche are capable of making it better. They just don't want to, because yeah, it would undermine the Cayenne, which is obviously their luxury, more expensive SUV that yeah is the top of the line of the SUVs that they make. So yeah, big shame though that there is that nagging thought. I'm sure some people won't care about that. Me personally, it is just a nagging thought really, especially when you compare it to other SUVs that are in its same class. But it is still nonetheless a really good car in terms of how it performs, in terms of its engineering, and in terms of its acceleration, and in terms of the interior. But the looks still aren't quite there for me, and there is again that nagging thought that it isn't quite as good as it could be. But yeah, still a good car, and yeah, I am glad it is on the game, because yeah, it certainly is an improvement over the previous one that we've had on this game. Well, not just on this game, but previous Forza games, and yeah, I'm sure I'll have some fun with it in other areas of this game. But nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.